Yo people, wagwan, I don't know, it's the King Boss, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you guys how to install Chrome OS onto your old laptops and desktops. Let's go. Step 1, you need to be using Google Chrome OS or Microsoft Edge or any Chromium based browser because you'll need to install an extension that only works on those browsers. So that's step 1. Step 2 is you go to Google and you type in Chrome Web Store. It's going to be the first link that comes up, and once you click on it, there's going to be a search bar at the top, and what you need to type into the search bar is simply recovery, RECOVERY. Press enter and it's going to be the very first thing that comes up. It says Chrome Recovery Utility. That's the thing you're going to need to install. I already have mine installed, so for me it says remove from Chrome. For yours it's going to say something like add to Chrome or install to Chrome, something along those lines. Once you have that installed, you're going to need to open it, and for most people it's going to show up in the top right hand corner of your browser window. So for me, I can see all my extensions here. If it doesn't show for you, you click on this thing here that says extensions. You're going to have a drop down list of all the things that you can use. Simply click on the one that you want to pin or simply click on it to open it. Once you open it, this is what you'll see. So I'm going to click on where it says get started. Once you get to this section, I would suggest you plug your memory stick into the computer and then you start going through these steps. So I'm going to go to where it says get started here, and from the list you're not going to have anything to type in here. If you're doing this on a random computer like I will be doing, you're going to click on where it says select a model from the list. Where it says select manufacturer, you're going to click on the arrow and you're going to go down to where it says Chrome OS Flex. It actually says Google Chrome OS Flex, so go down to G, look for Google Chrome OS Flex, and from where it says select a product, you're going to click on the arrow again and choose Chrome OS Flex. Once you've chosen those two options, you're going to click on where it says continue. You're going to click on the arrow here again, and this is going to be where you select the memory stick that you want to use for this. It needs to be at least 8 gigabytes. Mine is 28, but any size above 8 will work. So you can use a 16, you can use a 32, you can use a 64, anything will work. I'm going to click on that, then I'm going to click on where it says continue. The final option here for me is to click on where it says create new. Once I click on create new, it's going to go ahead and download what it needs to download, copy to the memory stick. So I'm just going to wait for this to finish, then I'll come back. From here, you can either create another or you can click done. For me, I'm going to click done and move over to my PC where I'm going to show you exactly the steps you need to follow to get this running. This is a memory stick that I installed Chrome OS onto. So this is the one I'm going to use to install on any other system I have. I'm going to put this to one side for now. What I wanted to show you guys is how far back you can go. This small form factor PC here is a Dell Optiplex 7040. This was released back in 2015, and the processor in here is an Intel i5 6th generation, which means that this will not be able to be updated to Windows 11. So I'm either stuck on Windows 10, where I don't have any security updates as I've mentioned before, or I move over to something else. Now Chrome OS is going to be perfect for something like this. This has 8 gigabytes of RAM. I think it has a quad core processor in there, and an SSD. So if you work in a school like I do and you're trying to transition to a Google school or a Google Classroom type setting, you don't actually have to go out and buy new PCs. Repurpose the old ones that you have, install Chrome OS on there, and you should have all the same features as you would normally. If you're someone who's at home and you don't want to get rid of a perfectly working PC just because Microsoft says, then you could go ahead and do something like this again. This laptop here has 4 gigabytes of RAM. It has an AMD Athlon dual core processor and a 128 gigabyte SSD. So very, very old processor, and it's not very good. However, I've installed Chrome OS on here already and it's working perfectly fine. It's not as fast as obviously a brand new computer. However, I didn't have to pay anything extra. This was already something that was just sitting in a corner somewhere, install it on it, and now it's working perfectly fine. So what I'm going to show you guys next is how to install Chrome OS on a machine like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug in the power cable into this one. So the desk might get a bit messy, so do bear with me. I don't have a lot of space to work with. That's the power cable plugged in. Next, I'm going to plug in my Ethernet cable. I have everything running off Ethernet. So if you prefer to use Wi-Fi, that will work perfectly okay. You don't need to do this step. I just prefer a wired connection. After that, I'm going to plug in my HDMI cable. This one here has 2 ports. It has an HDMI port and it also has a display port. But just for this, I'm going to use HDMI. Display port is generally better, but I don't have one of those laying around that goes into my monitor. So HDMI it is. And from here, I need to plug in a mouse and a keyboard at the back here. All of these ports here, the blue ones, wherever you see a blue port, that's going to be USB 3. So simple, cheap USB keyboard. I'm also going to plug in a USB mouse. So that goes right next to it. I know that. I'm actually going to go ahead and plug this memory stick in at the back because I don't have much space at the front. You can plug this into any spare USB port that you have. It should work fine. I would always recommend, if you have a blue port on your computer, which is a USB 3 port, to use that one instead. That just ensures that it's going to run a lot faster. I've just turned on my PC and now I'm pressing F2 on my keyboard because I want to get to my BIOS. This is basic input output system, and what this is going to allow me to do is to make a few changes. Most people coming from a Windows operating system like Windows 10, Windows 7, even Windows 11, you might have something enabled called secure boot, which means that when you plug the memory stick in and try to load the operating system, it won't work. So what you have to do is you get to your BIOS, and again, I'll put a picture of the BIOS shortcuts on screen so you can go to your BIOS and do something similar. It won't look exactly like mine on screen, but it should look relatively similar. So for me, I only need to go down to where it says secure boot. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click on the plus sign next to it. Sorry, my mouse is a bit jittery. And then under here, I'm going to click on where it says secure boot enable. Mine is already disabled. If yours says enabled or on or active, you need to turn it off, disable it, or deactivate it. Once you've done that, there should be like an apply button somewhere, and then okay, and then you can get to the next stage. So I'm going to click on exit here because mine is already done. Now my system's rebooting. I'm pressing F12 because that's my boot menu key because I'm using a Dell computer. Whatever the boot menu key is for your computer, that's the one that you need to press. So I'm pressing F12, 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 keep pressing F12 until it comes up. There we go. This is the boot menu. And what this is going to allow me to do is to load from the memory stick. Some of you guys might have older computers that are only legacy. Some of you might have one that says UEFI. Don't worry too much. It should still work fine for everyone. So if you're legacy, you should have an option here that says something along the lines of USB storage device. If yours is UEFI boot, you should have an option that actually tells you the name of your memory stick. So mine is a Kingston data traveler thing, and it actually says it there. So I'm going to click on UEFI just because. Click on that one. It's going to have some stuff come up on screen. Don't worry too much. When you get to the UI, the user interface section, it will just start to make sense. There's a logo there, Chrome OS Flex, and that's it. It loads up straight away. I'm going to change this from English US to English UK, but this is the setup screen for your Chrome OS Flex operating system. It's a very simple setup process. You simply follow the on-screen instructions and you should be good to go. So what I'm going to do now is click on where it says English US. I'm going to change it to English UK. And the option here, I'm going to scroll all the way down to where I can find UK. And then I'm going to change the input type, which is my keyboard, from English US to English UK. Click on OK. I'm going to click on where it says Get Started. You have the option to try Chrome OS Flex, or you have the option to install Chrome OS Flex. If you want to try it and see if it's something that you actually like and actually want to use, feel free to go ahead and click on try. And that will take you through to a different system where you can simply use some of the apps, not every single thing, use some of the apps on there and just test it out and see if it's actually for you. But because I know I want to install this, I'm going to go to where it says install. I'm going to click on next, click on install Chrome OS Flex. It's going to ask me if I want to erase my hard drive. If you had stuff on this hard drive before, you should stop this process right here. Go ahead and make sure you back up all the stuff that you have. If you need your pictures, your documents, your music, any files that you have on there, they're going to completely be wiped off. So make sure you go back and back everything up. I'm going to click on install. My installation is now complete. Instead of rebooting, I think the system actually shut down, which is fine. So all I'm going to do now is to pull the memory stick out before I turn it back on so that it doesn't try to reinstall the system again. Put that to one side. I'm going to power it on now, and you should see it load into a completely different system. Windows is going to be gone, and this is going to be a new operating system now. If you've ever used a Chromebook before, the same operating system, the same program, the same everything that's on a Chromebook is going to be on this computer here. This is asking that same question again, only because this is a brand fresh new thing. So even though it's asking for the same language again, we've done this before, but we have to do it one more time here. Now I'm going to choose my input, click there, then click OK, get started. The next stage is asking whether you want to set up for personal use, for a child, or for work. Again, if this is something you're doing for your work computers, your office computers, then obviously choose work. If it's for a child, choose child. I'm going to choose for personal use, then click on next. It's checking for updates. I already have my Ethernet cable plugged in, but if I did not have that plugged in, what it would do is ask me to enter my Wi-Fi details to log in and download this update. The system installed another update and rebooted. So now I'm going to go to next again. If you do have a Google account, this is where you would log in. However, if you don't have one, this is where you would actually go ahead and make a Google account. But because I have one, I'm going to log in with that one. I'm just going to accept everything for now. So here you can either create a password for this device, specifically the device, or what you can do is use the password that you use for the Google. I'm going to choose the first one, and I'm going to just put a pin. Next. I'm going to skip all of this. I don't want to tell them all of that stuff. Then I'm going to go next. I'm going to leave mine as a light theme. I'm going to make it larger just so it comes up better on the screen. I think the light theme works best for video. So here I am in Chrome OS, and obviously Chrome OS, the main browser, is going to be Chrome. And that's it. You have a fresh new operating system. You will get updates for years to come until Google discontinues Chrome OS, which might be a few years yet. You get all the Chrome OS apps. The only downside I would say to using Google Chrome is that you get no offline apps. So the majority of the stuff that you do, you will need to be connected to the internet. If you're someone that wants a full operating system that does not need to be connected to the internet, the following videos in the series are going to show you how to install Zorin OS, Elementary OS, Mint, and Ubuntu, and all of those can be used without an internet connection, so you can use it completely offline and everything will work perfectly fine. Anyways, thanks for watching, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.